Turn one soul ring.
It just happened. I'm not gonna trick you.
Click the button. It's done.
Well, I just don't want you to feel like you're being taken advantage of, you know?
Oh, thank you.
All right, well, it's a good thing we got the talking about private prisons out of the way, because I don't think people want to hear about that.
I really don't think so.
Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Turn 1 Soul Ring, the podcast where we talk about the Commander format and all things Magic the Gathering. I'm Kevin Smith.
And I'm Eric Grenfell.
And today on the show, we're going to go over some cards that are political, cards that promote politics, and some political things you can do on the battlefield and off the battlefield.
In the game of Magic the Gathering.
That's right. Specifically,
yeah, we're not going
because we could get really meta with this.
Yeah,
and like, how do you deal with your taxi driver politically if you take a lot of taxis?
In the city of Winnipeg,
probably the bus driver is more relatable, right? It's like, hey, why weren't you here on time?
Yeah,
do better.
Just do better.
Just do better. Yeah. So before we get to the juicy main topic of this show, we're going to talk about some Magic news, a little piece of Magic news. And that news is the War of the Spark alternate art Planeswalker cards, the Japanese alternate art.
Yeah, like so all these cards are every single Planeswalker in the set, all 36 of them. They have different art for the Japanese set. So they kind of have more reminiscent arts of just kind of the flavor of Japan and stuff like that.
Yeah, I didn't realize they were doing all 36. I've seen a few on Instagram, but yeah, it's really cool that they did this.
Yeah, it's just a really nice little extra tidbit. And I do quite like a lot of them. Like Ugin looks pretty...
He looks like an angel.
Yeah, kind of.
A dragon angel.
Kind of like a dragon angel.
Ready to ascend. And a lot of the art, like the Wanderer, it goes off. Like Planeswalkers have always been known to go beyond the border, but her little wind lines,
they go like right over top of like the creature type and stuff.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah, so they really just like go outside the border on these ones. They're very extravagant. So every single one is actually done by a different artist.
They commissioned a different artist.
Yeah, so 36 different artists all doing a separate piece of work for Wizards for these Planeswalkers. On top of Ugin, the Wanderer is really cool. Narset looks...
Karn's spark is like coming out of his chest.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Just powering up.
Not really, though, because he would die. Or no, he wouldn't die. He would just be like Teferi.
Yeah. The one thing I was really excited about was they actually got one of the famed Final Fantasy artists, Yoshitaka Amano. And so his art is Liliana of the Dreadhorde. And it's just like the original Final Fantasies 1 to...
Oh, I didn't play any of those.
Yeah, so it's like all 8-bit graphics, right? But then like the actual artwork done.
Right. Like on the game covers and
game covers and stuff like
guide.
that. Yeah, and you can pick up an art book from the originals, and it's kind of like this here, but it's gorgeous.
Okay, cool.
Spanning artwork. So
yeah, I watched my brother play through Final Fantasy VII about a dozen times. So that's kind of my experience with Final Fantasy, but
just number 7.
Very awesome games.
Cool.
You know?
Yeah. One of my favorite franchises.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Tybalt has love how you can see his ears just popping out over there too.
Yeah.
I have to say Nissa looks very just anime.
She does, yeah, definitely. Yeah, for sure. Nicol Bolas looks like, I think we talked about on our set review episode how much we liked the Deliver Unto Evil art. It would sort of harken back to old school Magic art.
Yeah.
And what they did with this Ugin looks like that
Nicol
too.
Bolas.
Sorry, I got Angel Ugin on the brain. Nicol Bolas. He looks like OG, like almost like Portal art, right? And they did that Japanese set or that I don't know if it's Chinese or Japanese, but certainly
something
Asian.
like that. Yeah.
Tameo looks really cool. Very anime as well.
I love the scrolls. It even like fades out over here.
Yeah.
So you got the whole circle going. Yeah, it's
cool.
great.
Kaya also very anime, but I like it. It's not a complaint.
No, yeah, I like it. It seems like Korra.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, kind of looks like that. So that's a really neat style there. And then I also like the Kiora. Just like
that's very cool.
Big sea beast right behind her. Pretty cool. Yeah. And then lovely colors here with the Sahili Rye and also the Vraska.
Yeah, no, they did an amazing job on these.
Love them all, yeah.
Can we get these here? In North America?
There's like a yes and no. Okay. First of all, these will be in the Japanese packs. So if you're able to get a hold of those somehow, they will be in there.
So if you buy a box of like Japanese War of the Spark.
Yeah. You'll have these alternate art planeswalkers.
Okay.
But it won't be like these are not in English.
Right, of course.
That's the one thing, yeah. The other thing though is if you are just going to stay in North America through the Wizards Play Network, so it's like the standard showdown packs and things like that, just these like limited packs. Apparently 1 in 4 of the packs will have one of these planeswalkers just thrown in there.
Okay, cool.
This is a nice little rare chance to get like really cool artwork planeswalker.
And it's a good incentive to get players to play standard.
Exactly.
If they want these cards.
Yeah.
Or just buy them on the secondary market.
Or that. Which I am actually like heavily.
Do you think any of these are going to be in foil? Have they said whether or not you can get them in foil?
Oh, that's a really good question. I don't see it on the.
No, I don't think it's on the webpage.
Yeah, it's not on the Magic webpage, so I'm actually not too sure about that one.
But they'd all look amazing in foil. But,
oh yeah.
And I think the foils from this set, the ones that I've seen, are really good. Like I think they, sometimes like they've been kind of dark in the past.
Yeah.
They haven't even really looked like foils unless you kind of flick them around. But this set is really, really, the foils are just beautiful.
Nice. I haven't seen a single physical paper card from this set yet.
No, you haven't. You haven't cracked any packs.
Haven't cracked any packs.
Oof, they smell good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, look for those in your Standard Showdown packs.
Local game stores.
Yeah, if you play Standard Showdown. Or you can probably get them on the secondary market.
Yeah, I might look at. I'm sure eBay somehow will be able to do something like that. So. Hopefully these don't get too high in price. I would love to just pick up a whole set.
All 36?
All 36, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't know how they're going to top this set. I was saying earlier about how anticipated Dominaria was.
Yeah.
With all the legendaries and really awesome draft format. But I think they did it with this set. I think they topped Dominaria, but I don't... can't imagine how they're going to top this set, at least for a standard set.
Yeah, I was always wondering how these planeswalkers with like only minus abilities and stuff would feel, and it's an interesting play format. It really like changed things up a lot, and
with all the proliferate effects, it's not just it's not just like I'm going to play this and then it's going to be gone. Right?
Oh, totally.
You have so many resources to keep them on the board.
Yeah. And some of them are still like Tybalt, for example. When he's out, your opponents can't gain health, but it's still like paying 3 mana for 2 1/1 devils that when they die they deal damage to something. Yeah. You can always look at the card like that. Like there's just a lot of value.
That's a good rate, definitely.
Yeah.
So before we get to the cards in this political discussion, let's talk a bit about what politics or politicking is in Commander. Politics isn't a mechanic that you're going to find on any kind of card. So it's really more of an idea. And it's very unique to our format. It's very unique to the Commander format because it's multiplayer. Even in like Two-Headed Giant, which is Two-Headed Giant, right? Is that
Yeah.
It's still multiplayer, but it's still essentially 1v1, right? It's one team against the other.
Yeah, exactly. So you're still working together with your partner, but
to kill the other
team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're sharing a life total, so it's the same. It's pretty much the same as 1v1. so there's no politicking in 1v1. You know, it's just like I'm just going to use my resources as efficiently as I can so I can kill my opponent.
Before I'm done.
Exactly. But in Commander, you have 3 opponents, and so you have one set of resources against 3 sets of resources. So the odds really are not in your favor.
No.
So an example of politics during a game is deal making. You know, that's probably like the most
common.
most clear form
Sure.
of politics. You know, so I can turn to Eric. We're in a game with 2 other people, and Eric has a board state with a ton of creatures, and if he attacks me, I don't have enough blockers to survive if you attack into me. So
I can take out a player here.
that's right. But if I have a board wipe, and I'm not threatening to use it, but I'm saying, hey, Eric, I have a board wipe that I can cast at instant speed, and it's going to ruin your board state. Now, I won't cast this board wipe if you don't attack me until the end of your next turn, right? Something like that, where it's going to give me this turn that you're on, and the entire next turn that you're going to take, you're not going to attack me. I'm going to be safe. And, you can agree to that. You can counteroffer, or you can say, I'm just going to attack you anyway because I don't think you have the board wipe.
Maybe I'm calling that bluff.
Maybe you are, or maybe you have a counterspell.
Or that too.
And those are your options if someone tries to make a deal with you. But obviously in that scenario, I want something from you, right? Which is to survive. So counter-offering would be a really good idea because I need you to take this offer.
Because I see that I have you dead here.
That's right.
Yeah.
And also, I don't necessarily want a board wipe because if I can get Eric to not attack me and kill my other opponents, and I'm using a deck where I don't need creatures on the board to win, then I can let Eric destroy the other 2 players and then board wipe.
And it's like you're just getting me to do your dirty work for you.
Absolutely.
All right.
So that's just one example of deal making, and you can absolutely say no thank you and then not attack me anyways, right?
I could not accept the deal, but then it's also like maybe I see, keep you alive for a turn.
That's right. And throughout the course of a game of Commander, you can offer any player any kind of deal. We would just advise you that if you're going to offer a deal, you always hold up your end of the bargain.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, whether or not you're lying or whether or not circumstances change, people are not going to want to make deals with you after that.
And it's not only just like the person you made the deal with. Other people at the table saw how you didn't carry out with that deal.
Yeah, distrustful, right?
So you may get ahead for one little split there, but then you're kind of lone wolfing it after.
That's right. It's like any political campaign. You gotta kiss the babies if you want to win.
And shake hands.
That's right.
But don't shake babies.
Don't mix those up. But politics isn't just deal making. It really starts as soon as you sit down at the table. If you're playing with friends, you can have a good idea of the decks that they're playing. If they pull out a commander, if Eric sits down at the table with his Brea deck, which I'm sure is rife with combos, is it?
Yeah, there's some combo stuff in there.
Yeah. Again, not that there's anything wrong with that. I think we've been pretty.
But then, Kevin, if I see you sitting there with your slivers,
right? You like Eric. You can say, well, that's a pretty powerful deck you got there. With slivers, and then the other 2 players are like, well, I think we need to target this guy.
I think so.
So you've put a target on my head before the game even started.
Yeah,
right? I'm already at a disadvantage, and that's how easy it is to sort of sway other players' decisions in the game. And you know, another political move you can make is something that I like to do, especially in when I'm playing at LGSs and when I'm playing with people that I don't necessarily know or haven't played with before. I like to introduce myself and ask people their names, and then when I'm targeting them, or if they're targeting me, or what have you, I use their names, and I think that's something that a lot of people don't tend to do.
Definitely not. People don't do that.
Or they'll refer to players as the commander. It's like, okay, well, it's like Brago player, I'm gonna swing at you. Or they roll a dice.
Or they roll a dice.
Yeah, you're 1-2, you're 3-4, you're 5-6 kind of thing.
Don't want to make enemies, just gonna roll a dice, see what happens.
I don't like the player that rolls the dice.
You don't like that?
No, because you're saying that you're not gonna make an educated decision, because even at that point early in the game, you can still look at their board state, and if a player has more lands or more ramp or more cards in hand, or maybe they have, I don't know, they just have more of something, you can determine that that is the player that you should be directing that damage towards.
Yeah.
So I just think that's, I don't think that kind of behavior is advisable. So I would target that player. The dice,
the one rolling
player,
the dice,
the one rolling the dice. Yeah, I think that's.
Usually, people are doing that so that they don't get targeted. They're saying it's not on me; it's on RNG.
Right, and I think they'd be a better player if they assess the board state and say,
just
you know
make
what?
a decision.
I'm going to attack the player that has the most lands, because that is the most threatening thing at this point.
Yeah.
And you can say that, and I think that that's a more agreeable statement than rolling a dice. But yeah, the rolling the dice is popular. I will certainly admit that. But yeah, using first names, I think is a really great political move, because we like to hear our names, right? We've heard them our whole lives, and they sound good to us. I think most of us. It's the same way we like seeing ourselves in the mirror.
I don't.
No, you don't like that? But yeah, that's just something that you can do when you sit down at a table, and like complimenting players on their sleeves, or like if you have the same sleeves as another player, you can be like, that was a good a good purchase on that, because
good color choice.
Yeah, good color choice.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, if someone's playing a commander, I built a deck around that commander, and it was like tons of fun.
Yeah.
So just making yourself as friendly as you can, making yourself just sort of mirroring what other players are doing as much as you can, and they're going to have a more positive perception of you in their minds.
Yeah, even taking a story from our last show, you sat down table with a salt-inducing.
Right.
Yeah.
And I did target him a little bit more, because I didn't. Salt is fine. But I think, sitting down at a table with Salt, I don't think there's any reason for that. You probably shouldn't be there.
You didn't even meet these people yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he had a handlebar mustache, so
what's wrong with that?
I don't. Well, there's nothing wrong with the handlebar mustache, but I've seen better handlebar mustaches. I don't have anything wrong, but I think it was just his. I shouldn't have targeted the handlebar mustache. It was his whole facade.
Just facade of what
bad.
he was. Yeah.
I don't want to dunk on people with handlebar mustaches, because they can be very beautiful. But yeah, so don't sit down being salty. And if somebody makes a play that wipes your whole board, remove all non-land permanents from the game and discard your hand.
What?
And you're like, you know what? That's rough. That hurt. And I'm going to have to rebuild. I don't know if I can still win. But, the appropriate thing to do, the appropriate political thing to do, I think, is to say, you know what? That was a good play, my friend.
There you go. The one who's doing the damage.
That's right. Because, don't give people a reason to
come at you.
And if they dislike you, that's a reason. So yeah, those are just a few examples of some political moves that you can make even before the game starts, that may make it a little easier for you to win long term.
Yeah, for sure. So above and beyond just talking politics and making deals and stuff like that, I think there are actually cards in Magic that have politics within them.
Yeah, there's definitely some. Why don't we move on and talk about political commanders?
Sure.
Let's get to that. So there are, commanders that you can build your deck around that are all about politics. And it makes your entire deck strategy a political one.
Which, if you haven't done this before, I'd say give it a try.
It's very fun.
It's very fun.
It's very fun, and it's really an underplayed strategy.
Very much so.
Like that Zansha deck that I talked about briefly in, I think it was our first episode, maybe our second episode. That's a very political deck because you're giving away your commander to another player to attack other players with, and everybody can activate her ability to draw cards and make the player controlling her lose life.
So it gets people talking. Stuff's going around the table.
I'll offer people mana so they can activate Zansha. It's just like it is. If you haven't tried it, it is a very, very fun strategy to play around.
Yeah.
So the first commander that we're going to talk about is Zedru the Great-Hearted. So Zedru is a 1 red, white, and blue Jeskai, legendary creature, Minotaur Monk. He's a 2/4. And he reads, at the beginning of your upkeep, you gain X life and draw X cards, where X is the number of permanents you own that your opponents control. And you can pay a red, a white, and a blue. Target opponent gains control of target permanent you control.
Oh, so I'm just giving my permanents away for mana.
Yeah, and it's just a colon, so you can just if you have unlimited colored mana, you can just keep doing that. You just give away target permanent. You can just give
Any
away
permanent.
anything. And you could also give away permanents that are just really bad news for the player,
Which is how I've seen this one a little bit more.
Like you could give away a Zurin Orb, which is like a 0 mana artifact, which is like sacrifice an artifact. Sacrifice a land, gain 2 life, and then you could like Mindslaver that player and sacrifice all their lands. Mindslaver's like a 6 mana artifact that you can. Do you have to pay to sacrifice Mindslaver?
You do.
Is it another 6?
So I think they're different costs.
Well, anyways, whatever the cost is, you pay and you sacrifice Mindslaver to gain control of target player's next turn. So you just get to do everything that they would be able to do on their turn. So
It's 6 to cast and 4 to activate.
Okay, so 10 mana total. That's reasonable.
Yeah,
just
to take someone's turn.
Destroy a person's life.
Yeah, ruin their time.
You don't get to play Magic anymore.
Sorry.
So. The ability to donate cards and permanents is not very common in Magic.
Very, very rare.
And this is specifically a commander card. This was never in a standard set.
Yeah, so just some fun stuff. Like, there's a card called Demonic Pact. 2 of anything, 2 black. It's an enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, choose one that hasn't been chosen. And so there's 4 things here. Demonic Pact deals 4 damage to target creature or player, and you gain 4 life. Target opponent discards 2 cards, draw 2 cards, and the last one, you lose the game.
Yeah, that's right.
So basically, you're going to use this at 3 upkeeps, and then before your 4th one, you're going to donate this to somebody.
Well, at the end step before that player's next turn, you can donate it because you can activate Zedru's ability.
You are right, yeah. And then so what's going to happen is
they lose
the only option left is to lose the game.
Unless they have a way to like get rid of it.
Yeah.
And they could like just Crozan grip it.
Yep. But yeah, there's fun stuff like that you can do.
Definitely.
Fun for you, not fun for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or you can just be nice.
You just give away cards, gain X life, draw X cards.
Get through your deck.
It is a very good card draw engine.
Yeah, for sure.
No doubt. It is an upkeep trigger, which I don't love.
Yeah.
I think in recent years they've gone more towards like at your end step.
So you get the effect
right away. You get the value. But it's an older card. Was this originally printed in 2016? I think it was printed earlier than that, wasn't it?
I think there's a earlier printing of it. Yeah. I do have to say also like the creature type, it's a Minotaur Monk. So you usually see Minotaurs as like brash characters that are just like out to kill and stuff like that. But this is a Minotaur Monk, so he's been training his life to.
Is Zedru a lady? Is it a guy? I think it might be.
It might be a
because
lady
it's
monk.
got like
the wrap there around
wrap
the chest.
there around the chest, and
Yeah.
there is like a noticeable bulge.
Yeah,
I think it could be a lady.
lady goat. Cool.
Oh, we should. We'll look into that. So the next political commander we're going to talk about is Guafa, Hazard Profiteer.
Guafa.
It's fun to say, right?
I like that.
It's 1, a white, and a blue for a legendary creature, human rogue. And it's a 2/2, and you can pay a white and a blue and tap him to put a bribery counter on target creature you don't control. Its controller draws a card. Creatures with bribery counters on them can't attack or block anybody.
Just can't attack or block.
No, you're done. It's over.
This one's pretty neat because it can just like lock down a board. Like you only do it once a turn, mostly.
Yeah, unless you have like untapping effects.
Yeah, but they still get to draw a card.
Yeah, it's not, it's not bad. It's like Arcane Denial, right? It's like I countered your spell, but you get to draw 2 cards.
Yeah.
So it's fine.
So
you shouldn't be upset.
Yeah. So just kind of like, I'll let you draw cards. I'll have to shut down your creature for it.
Right. And you probably build a Pillow Fort deck around this commander and win with some kind of combo.
For sure.
I've never built a Pillow Fort deck, but I've played against them. And
we'll get to one that I kind of sort of built a little pillowy.
Okay, cool. Yeah. But yeah, he's just a cool. It's like 3 mana for a 2/2, like good rate. Was he originally printed in Battle Bond?
No, before that for sure.
Yeah,
because I've seen him before Battle Bond. So
yeah.
and then even like so it only makes the creature can't attack or block. So this is also more with politicking because if you have an opponent that's using a creature to tap for mana or tap for its abilities, that stuff still works even if you put a bribery counter on it. So you can make a deal. It's like I'll let you just draw a card if you help me out here in some way. So
yeah, absolutely. I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I only saw the bad stuff.
The bad stuff.
So is this next one the one that you built a deck around?
Oh yes, it is.
Okay, why don't you? It's Kineos and Tiro of Meletis.
Yeah.
So this is one of the 4 color commanders from Commander 2016. It's the one without black.
The one without black.
Yeah.
So red, green, white, and blue. I was really into this set too. I like the 4 color stuff.
It was very cool.
Yeah.
Did they have a name for these color combinations, or was it just 4 color?
It's just 4 color.
Okay.
There's no actual. Yeah.
It's no what were they called in like cons? The like the Jeskai. But what were they like? Because I know like the shards was maybe I think they were the wedges. That's what they were called.
Oh, wedge. Yeah.
The cons wedges.
Yeah.
But anyways.
So he's 4 mana, 1 of each, no black, and it's a 2/8. That's beefy.
That is beefy. It's like they should have given him taunt. That's a little Hearthstone tidbit.
So it's a legendary creature, human soldier. At the beginning of your end step, draw a card. Each player may put a land from his or her hand onto the battlefield. Then each opponent who didn't draws a card. So
really, I love seeing this card across from me on the battlefield.
it's pretty sweet. But also, it's a really nice card because it is benefiting everybody. Mm-hmm. Basically how it works is that you as the player playing Kineos and Tiro, you will get to draw a card, and you will also get to play a land. Everybody else gets one of those options. They can either draw a card or play a land.
So you're always getting the better end of that deal.
Always getting the better end of that deal. You get both.
Yeah.
Players usually end up drawing a card. That's unless you're like really needing to ramp, but it's like card advantage is big.
Definitely.
But yeah, this is I had a lot of fun with this deck. I made it like Pillow Forty.
Was this the flagship commander of?
This was the flagship commander.
Okay.
And I saw this and I was like, I haven't done a group hug deck yet, so I'm gonna go pick these guys, do group hug. Mm-hmm. It's pretty fun. I had like a lot of the tempt cards.
Oh yeah, tempt.
Yeah.
Awesome. I think we're gonna talk about those a little bit.
Yeah. Then also, like I was saying, I had we even talked about some of these cards. I actually had Collective Restraint in here because you got 4 colors, right?
Yeah. So that's 8 mana.
Yeah, so it's good stuff. All those things just so people wouldn't attack me, and then I just had other cards that would benefit people, draw cards and stuff like that, and just a couple win cons in there just because you still want to win the game.
You gotta be able to win the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, look what we fought for. Look what we built together.
Good flavor text.
Yeah, it's very good. Yeah, so this next one is interesting. I've actually never seen this played. Do you want to talk about this one, Eric?
Sure, yeah. I have actually played this one as well. So he's part of the partner commanders.
Yeah, from the same set from Commander 2016.
Yeah, from the same set. And I don't remember which deck these guys came in. It might have been Brea. Yeah, because they work off. So they did come in Brea. And so this is Ludovic, Necro Alchemist, one of anything, a blue and a red. Legendary Human Wizard. At the beginning of each player's end step, that player may draw a card if a player other than you lost life this turn.
So it's kind of like Edric.
Kind of like Edric, yeah.
Where if you attack an opponent,
other than the person who owns Edric.
Yeah, you draw a card for each creature. Well, if you they have to deal combat damage with.
They have to deal combat damage
with Edric.
But that's for each creature.
It's for each creature, yeah.
So this one's kind of toned down a little bit.
Yeah, I think they.
Not as scary to see. I do like this card.
Yeah,
it's just good in the 99.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's a fun. It is a fun card when you're just like, hey, I helped you out. Like I'm drawing you cards. Like don't attack me.
Don't attack me.
I've done nothing wrong.
People.
Yeah.
Draw cards. Please draw cards.
Just draw cards. Just don't attack me.
Yeah.
You're promoting attacking, which, again, is something that we don't tend to do in this format, even when somebody's wide open.
Yeah.
Right. It's like I'm not going to tap this Llanowar Elf for mana this turn. I should probably just attack.
It's 1 damage.
Yeah.
Ping him for 1.
Can make a difference. Yeah, and this guy's got partners, so it's a very fun mechanic that I hope they bring back.
Yeah. So if you want to throw him with another one for your commanders, you can do that.
Yeah, make another 4-color commander.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna move on from political commanders, and we're gonna talk about some political mechanics. And most of these are from commander sets. These political mechanics. I think maybe all of them are. Well, no, there's
Conspiracy
and Battle Bond.
Yeah,
so nothing really from Standard.
No.
But the first political mechanic we're going to talk about that promote politics is the Will of the Council mechanic. So an example of this is the card Plea for Power, which is a 3 and a blue for a sorcery. And Will of the Council reads, starting with you, each player votes for time or knowledge. If time gets more votes, take an extra turn after this one. If knowledge gets more votes, or the vote is tied, draw 3 cards. So Will of the Council, it always had that part where it said, if the vote is tied, you go with the second option.
Yeah.
That's how all the Will of the Council cards worked. So yeah, it's a voting card. Like what could be more political than voting?
Actually voting.
Yeah. And this is from Original Conspiracy, Will of the Council. And that was like both conspiracy sets were a multiplayer draft format.
Yeah.
Which really works very well for Commander. I'm sure they had that in mind when they were designing those sets. So the political mechanic from Conspiracy 2 that I think is a lot more fun is Council's Dilemma. Capital Punishment is an example. So Capital Punishment is a 4 and 2 black for a sorcery, and Council's Dilemma reads, starting with you, each player votes for death or taxes. Each opponent sacrifices a creature for each death vote and discards a card for each taxes vote. So this card's pretty devastating.
I'd say so.
Because it stacks.
Yeah.
Right? So
every vote counts.
Unlike Will of the Council, where it was
there's only one effect happening in the end.
Right. And another card that is sort of become a bit of a boogeyman in
A bit of one.
in our format is with Will of the Council on it is Expropriate.
Yeah.
So do you want to read Expropriate, Eric?
Yeah, so Expropriate. It is 9 mana, 7 of anything, and 2 blue. Starting with you. Oh, it has Council's Dilemma. Starting with you, each player votes for time or money. For each time vote, take an extra turn after this one. For each money vote, choose a permanent owned by the voter and gain control of it. You do have to exile Expropriate.
But with the new
why.
with the new Kefnet, you can just cast the copy and scroll rack it away.
Oh boy.
If you want to win.
Yeah. This is money right here.
Well, actually, no. You don't scroll rack it away. You just leave it on top.
Oh, you just leave it on.
Yeah. Don't scroll rack it away. I misspoke. So don't ever vote. Like I can't think of a situation, but the situations are rare when you want to vote for time.
Super rare.
Because the player casting this always says time.
They always get that extra turn.
And if you give them a second extra turn, they probably just won the game.
Probably.
And I know that they're going to take what they think is your best permanent. You know, it sucks. None of us like to give away permanents. That's why the Memnarch player, who is me, usually gets targeted first.
But yeah, like even if they're giving you some sort of sweet deal,
Don't
give them an extra
don't
turn.
say time.
Yeah, don't say time.
I know it's hard. We've all been there, but just don't do it.
Give away a permanent. It's lesser of two evils.
Speaking of Expropriate, have you seen the price on this card lately?
I've heard about
It's
it.
like $50 US. I was buying them when they were like $9.
Wow. I wish.
Well, I had no idea they would get that value. It's 9 mana.
Yeah. But again, in the commander format, when you have lots of mana.
Yeah, it's not hard to get to.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a really really good card. Don't vote time.
Yeah.
That's the policy of this podcast.
Don't vote time.
You will not get it back. So let's move on to a set that came out not that long ago. Battle Bond.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, we actually we did
Commander Masters.
That's right. Yeah. We actually did we drafted Battle Bond.
We did.
We did very poorly.
Yeah, for sure. Thought our deck was pretty good.
We did. We thought our decks were, pretty good.
Yeah.
Turns out
Not so much.
So good, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah, live and learn.
So Battle Bond had a couple of cycle of mechanics. This first one we're going to talk about doesn't have a specific name, but it allowed the player casting it to choose the effect on the other players. So an example of this is Pier's Whim. It's 3 and a green for a sorcery. For each player, choose friend or foe. Each friend searches their library for a land card, puts it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffles their library. Each foe sacrifices an artifact or enchantment they control.
This just like speaks politics, because the card itself is saying choose friend or foe.
Yeah. Who's your enemy?
Yeah.
Who do you want to make your friend? Who do you want to make your enemy?
Who. But yeah, I love that. Even just like the flavor in the text, it's like the card itself explaining what it does is just, this is made for a commander.
Yeah, you don't even need a mechanic name.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've seen this card played a few times, and I would say I've seen it misplayed because players will cast it and they won't even I've never seen it cast where a player chooses friend for any other player than themselves.
Huh.
You know, they don't even like attempt to make a deal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, not how I would do it, but
It's a very good tool for you to make a friend and make a deal to help you out later as well. You're giving them any land.
absolutely future considerations.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's any land too. It's like for 4 mana, that's so good.
They'll definitely want to be your friend.
You know what else is good? Hour of Promise. It's only 1 mana more, and you get 2 lands. 2 land cards on the battlefield.
Any land cards.
Yeah, I think they're tapped, but it's really good.
Still, it's really good. 2 any lands. Get yourself an Hour Promise.
And if you control a desert, you get some 2/2 zombies.
Oh, sweet.
So
I think it's more than just one.
I think it's 2.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's 2/2 zombies and a.
I think it's you need more than one desert. Oh, 2.
Oh, do you need more than one desert? I don't know. Not the point. Getting a little off topic here. Okay, so shared trauma is an example of joined forces, which is a mechanic from a commander set.
I think so. Also, you need 3 deserts to get zombies.
From Our
Hour
Promise?
Promise.
But you still get 2 lands.
You get 2 any lands.
Any lands.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Why are you running 3 deserts in your?
Just don't.
Yeah, no, only run scavenger grounds. So,
Shared trauma.
yeah, joined forces is from Commander OG Commander.
Ooh.
That's Commander 2011. They didn't do Commander in 2012, so there's no Commander 2012. So if you find one, they're liars. So yeah, the way joined forces works is. Starting with you, each player may pay any amount of mana. Each player puts the top X cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard, where X is the total amount of mana paid. So all these joined forces cards work this way, where everyone gets to pay mana into it, and everyone gets the same amount of reward, or the same effect.
Same effect. This one doesn't seem too rewarding for certain decks.
No, and there's one where...
so like the blue one, you get to draw cards.
Draw cards, and everyone gets to draw cards equal to the amount of mana in.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, I'll put 10 mana in, but, don't just... Well, a crazy deal would be like, don't target me with anything you draw. I don't know how you confirm that, but...
I do like the green one because you get lands for each mana.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's really good.
That one just like...
And like land cards?
Sorry, basic lands.
Oh, okay. That's still very, very good.
Yeah, if you have people paying like 15 mana, that card speeds up games.
We do like speeding up games.
We do, yeah. So if you want to, get...
I played a Mana Flare the other night in a game, which is it's 2 in a red for an enchantment from like... It's very old. I think it was an original alpha. I don't have an alpha copy, but... It's whenever a player taps a land for mana, that player adds an additional mana of that type to their mana pool. I had no way to capitalize on it, but I just played it because I wanted the game to speed up.
Okay.
And it did.
There you go.
Yeah, it did. Sometimes you just want the game to end, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a mechanic that I like a lot, and I almost think it should be just a part of Commander as a format. It just should be like on the table as a chip that you can get right off the bat.
Cool.
And that is the Monarch.
Butterfly?
No, I don't like butterflies.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, they're just like so big and they're flying at you,
Get in your hair?
They do get in my hair. I've gotten butterflies in my hair. If I haven't cut it for a few months.
Oh, boy.
So the Monarch mechanic was from Conspiracy 2, which just came out a few years ago. And the way it works is, most cards with the Monarch, when the creature with the Monarch would come into play, you would become the Monarch.
Yeah.
So there's like Thorn of the Black Rose is a pretty popular popper card. It's 3 and a black for a human assassin, 1/3 with Death Touch. When Thorn of the Black Rose enters the battlefield, you become the Monarch. And the way the Monarch works is at the beginning of your end step, draw a card. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to you, its controller becomes the Monarch.
So this is nice because you're getting that value right away. It's end step.
Exactly, and it makes players want to attack.
Yeah.
Right. Which is something I think we've said before that we just like forget to do or we avoid doing. It's like I want to hold up blockers or something.
Yeah. And there's like one other creature on the battlefield. You're like,
There's two people wide open. I should just swing at one
Just
of them.
swing.
And you know what? If you really can't decide, you just roll the dice if you need to. You know, I'm not. I'm not that militant about anything. But what's really interesting about the Monarch token is this is a token that was mass produced, just like all tokens, but it has it's got a typo or like a grammatical error on it, whatever you want to call it. So what it actually reads is, at the beginning, your end step, draw a card. So they forgot to put like an of in there.
Yeah.
And these are just like, this is the token. This is what it looks like.
That's what it is.
So, I mean, in 25 years, that's pretty good. One time.
One time. Is it only one time?
We're probably going to get some comments about that.
Probably. This is the most recent.
Yes. I think so. I'm scared. Okay, so this next mechanic is so much fun. It's even more fun than join forces.
I'd agree.
Yeah. So why don't you take this one, buddy?
For sure. So I actually mentioned this before with my Kineos and Tiro deck.
Yeah, you were trying to be real tempting.
Real.
You're a temptress.
So there is a whole cycle for colors. The
tempting offer.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So how tempting offer works is usually like you get to do something, and then everyone else will get to do something. But if they do that, you get to do that again.
For each time that they did it.
For each time. So for example, we have Tempt with Discovery, which is 3 of anything and a green. Search your library for a land card, put it onto the battlefield. Each opponent may search his or her library for a land card and put it on the battlefield. But then for each opponent who searches a library this way, you get to search your library for a land card and put it on the battlefield. And then, of course, everyone just has to shuffle their decks if they searched.
Right. So just if you want to search your library for a card and you didn't cast Tempt with Discovery, just search for Strip Mine, just in case the player that did cast it gets like a juicy land.
That's spicy. But yeah, this is a fun card. For 4 mana, you're still getting 1 of any land from your deck.
Yeah, any land.
Any land.
It's just so good.
Yeah. I had an Eldrazi deck that I ran this in, so I was like, I'm getting Ivugan. I don't care. Yeah. You guys can get a land or not, but I'm getting Ivugan for sure and just going to town.
Well, I'm going to get a land. I'm going to get a Strip Mine.
You're going to Strip Mine? Well, I'm also going to grab an Eldrazi Temple then.
But then Trevor's going to get a Strip Mine. And he's going to blow it up.
I'm going to get...
Riley's going to get a Strip Mine.
Everyone's just getting Strip Mines?
Everyone's getting Strip Mines. So I'm going to tell them to get Strip Mines. And they're going to give me deference later because I helped them. And that's a political move.
Oh, okay. If I hear you guys are getting Strip Mines, I'm just going to grab basic lands.
Great. We'll just Strip Mine some other stuff.
It's okay. But yeah, again, just like we had there, great card for politics.
Absolutely. And the other card that sees a lot of play in this cycle is Tempt with Vengeance, the red one, which is the player that casts it creates X 1/1 elemental tokens with haste. And then I think you can create the same, that opponents can create the same amount.
So yeah, you put X1 red elemental creature tokens with haste on the battlefield. Each opponent may put those on the battlefield, but for each player who does, you do put that same amount again. So if X is like 5, you get 5. If someone else does, you get another 5. So other players may have 5, but you're going to have 10, 15, 20.
And you're doing it on your first main phase so that you can attack.
Exactly.
Or you can sacrifice them to get
for
mana
something,
or draw cards, or make players lose life. You know.
So that's a fun one.
Yeah, sacrifice it's very powerful.
Yeah.
Oh, so there is a battle bond actual mechanic that we haven't talked about. It's called assist. So the way that works is another player can pay up to X amount of mana of this spell's cost. So the example is Out of Bounds. It's 3 and a blue for an instant, and it counters target spell, but it has assist, and another player can pay up to 3 mana of this spell's cost. So in the Battle Bond limited environment, you know, your partner would pay that cost.
Yeah, help you out.
And then you can cast these, well, this isn't really a splashy spell, but just more expensive spells earlier. But in Commander, this is great because you can just be like, hey, over there, I got this counter spell, but I only have 1 blue mana. And they're like, oh yeah, great, let's do it.
Let's counter this.
Yeah, I need this.
I don't want this expropriate happening.
No, don't do it. I can't.
Don't vote for time.
I can't afford time or money. This is gonna be really bad. So let's move on and talk about some cards specifically, not just mechanics that promote politics.
Specific cards here.
This is the meat. All right, you are 53 minutes in, and this is the meat. All right, so I hope you filled your propane tanks. Taste the meat, not the heat.
Yep.
So the first card is, I love this card.
Oh, me too. This is so good.
Perplexing Chimera. It's 4 and a blue for an enchantment creature Chimera. It's a 3/3. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, you may exchange control of Perplexing Chimera and that spell. If you do, you may choose new targets for the spell. And then, if the spell becomes a permanent, you control that permanent. But if the spell is expropriate, everyone has to vote for you.
Yeah. It's not my time or money.
Vote money. Yeah, this card is just like, this card hits the battlefield and your opponents are just like, well, does he want this? If I cast this spell, is he going to take it? It's like...
Really makes people think.
It's like, hey, buddy, I got this, it's like, I got this Sylvan Scrying here. I don't even think you want this.
Right?
But it's also, because once you give up your Perplexing Chimera...
They have it now.
Yeah. So you really want a way, if you're going to use Perplexing Chimera, a way to bounce it, right? Like with a Mismeadow Witch, so you can get it back and keep using it.
That's the best way.
That's the best way. But even just on its own, it's fantastic.
Yeah, I find like it can really shake up just what happens in the game.
Well, it totally changes the way people play.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to, like, I'm not going to cast my Ingarrick's Wake if you have a Perplexing Chimera on the board because you're just going to take it.
Yeah, that seems really dumb.
And then my Perplexing Chimera dies.
Dies anyways.
So, yeah, it's like those one-sided board wipes become unusable.
Yeah, and it's also kind of like insurance. You never have to use this.
No.
But it stops people from casting those like one-sided board wipes and stuff because it's silly to do it.
Yeah, no, it definitely makes people think, is this spell going to be taken by the Perplexing Chimera?
Yeah.
Is my Ugin the Spirit Dragon going to get taken by Perplexing Chimera? The answer is yes.
That one's a good shot. Yeah.
So the next two cards have a similar political effect.
One of them's old, and one of them's relatively new.
Very old. It's an old common that's like $30.
Common?
Yeah. It's
What?
Ristic Study from Prophecy. It's like $30 now. It's 2 and a blue for an enchantment. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, you may draw a card unless that player pays 1, and you do have to remind them every time.
You do.
Yeah, they changed that recently. So if you wanted to play faster with this, no.
The other people have to remember they have it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, it
Just
is.
be like, hey, I pay extra.
It is a May ability.
Speeds it along.
So if you can, if it's 2 turns away, if 2 turns have passed, you can't be like, oh, I have like 10 Ristic Study triggers. It's like, well, that's up to you if you want to allow that kind of thing.
It is a May.
But I wouldn't. Would you?
No, you're not drawing 10 cards. Also, Therese Nielsen art, love it.
Yeah, very beautiful. Yeah, she's a treasure.
Hands down.
So the other card is Smothering Tithe, which just came out in Ravnica Allegiance. It's 3 and a white for an enchantment. Whenever an opponent draws a card, that player may pay 2. If the player doesn't, you create a colorless treasure artifact creature token with sacrifice this artifact, add 1 mana of any color.
Creature token.
Artifact. It's a treasure artifact
Token. No creatures here.
No creatures. No, they can't attack. It's a 0/0. Just die. But yeah, so like Ristic Study, I find that more people will pay the 1
Yeah.
for the card advantage, and because it's only 1 mana.
It's only 1 mana, and it's like card is huge.
Yeah, this is best on turn 1 or 2. As the turns progress, this card gets worse and worse and worse.
Because people have more mana that they're willing to expend.
Exactly. But it is a really good, you're literally asking people if you can draw cards. You're having them make a decision that's going to affect your gameplay specifically, but everyone's gameplay in general.
Yeah.
Smothering Tithe, on the other hand, this card has only been out for, 6 months or so?
Or so. It was $1 at pre-release and stuff.
I actually spec'd on these, the foils. I was picking up the foils when they were about $8 or $9. And I think they're up to, like high 20s now.
Sure,
so,
yeah. Isn't the card itself like 10?
Yeah, just the regular card is 10. I picked up a few of like the regular ones, but I like to foil out my decks. Well, we both do.
Yeah.
We like foils.
It's shiny.
Exactly. I also like keys jangling.
Yeah. Gets me every time.
But, it's only... I think it's a combination of it being 1 more mana than Rhystic Study, and it's only creating mana.
Yeah.
That people, I have not seen someone pay the Smothering Tithe fee.
It's very unassuming.
It really is, because you're just getting mana.
Yeah.
What could you possibly do with mana? It's so interesting how the difference between drawing cards and getting more mana is so skewed, right? In terms of what people are willing to pay to stop these effects from happening.
But it's also like in terms of this card, you're paying 2 mana, so your opponent doesn't get 1 mana.
It is a huge disparity.
Yeah.
Yeah, that 2 mana, it's
a lot.
It really is. But this is exactly like if you have a white deck, that you put this in your deck.
Throw it in there.
Like this card is
straight up
amazing.
Oh yeah.
Like I put this in my Sliver Overlord deck.
Oh, did you?
I did. It's that good.
Damn.
It's so good. No one pays 2.
All that extra mana?
It's like the card says whenever an opponent draws a card, you get a mana that you can spend later on whenever you want.
Cool. And so the turn you play this, you're for sure getting 3 extra mana, and the enchantment costs you 4 mana.
So
after one turn, it costs you 1 mana.
Yeah.
And if it stays out there longer, it's already paid for itself.
Yeah, this card is... I wonder how much this card's going to cost in like...
If it doesn't get reprinted. Yeah.
It's not like it's that hard to reprint. Like you could put this in a supplemental set, but
anything.
It's just like, this could be like a $10 card. Well, it already is a $10 card. This could be like a $15, $20 card in 5 years.
Yeah, totally.
With how much popularity the Commander format's gaining.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like... I could not sing more praises about this card. I love it. So the next card we're going to talk about is...
Fact or fiction?
That's right. Kind of an older card.
Yeah.
Right? I think this was originally printed in... it was reprinted in Eternal Masters anyway. And it got a printing in... I think it was from the Vault 20.
Yeah, I think you're right there.
So I really like Fact or Fiction or just cards like this. But Fact or Fiction is 3 and a blue for an instant. Reveal the top 5 cards of your library. An opponent separates those cards into 2 piles. Put 1 pile into your hand and the other pile into your graveyard.
It's originally from Invasion.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was playing back then. So what I really like about cards like this where, you're essentially asking another player, how good are you at Magic?
Pretty much.
And, sometimes you draw those 5 cards and there is just no good option for piles.
Yeah. Just like all of them are gas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that happens and this card's so good because it's an instant.
Oh, yeah.
It could be a sorcery and it would still be amazing.
It still would. But now being able to hold up your counter spells for something and then cast this at someone's end step.
Absolutely.
You just get some more cards. You're like, okay.
And you can totally if somebody is like the arch enemy of a game, I can go to Eric and I can be like, Eric, I'm going to cast this Facts or Fiction. I'm going to pick you. but we need to get this guy.
Yeah.
So, I'm not saying you have to make one pile that has no cards in it and one pile that has 5 cards in it, but
Give me a more favorable pile.
yeah, make a good pile so that we can deal with this, and then I've expended those cards, the pile that you gave me, and then we can fight it out.
There we go.
Right? Like this is a really good deal-making card.
Hands down. Love it.
It's also a great card draw card, though, like if you just need to draw some cards.
Oh, yeah. Like, usually at minimum, you're getting, like, 2 cards.
Yeah, definitely. And instant speed, so you're just going to get to untap right away.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's also this effect on Unesh, Cryosphinx Sovereign.
Yeah.
Which is a commander that I built a Sphinx tribal deck around. And it's kind of like Fact or Fiction. So whenever Unesh or another Sphinx you control enters the battlefield, you get to reveal the top 4 cards of your library. And
So one less than Fact or Fiction.
one less, but it's like every Sphinx.
Yeah.
And then an opponent separates those cards into 2 piles, and you pick one.
Yeah.
But it also reduces the cost of Sphinxes
Oh, by 2,
by
right?
2 mana.
Yeah.
So it takes a lot of those 6 mana Sphinxes and makes them 4 mana, makes it actually a lot more of a reasonable rate. But it's just a fantastic card draw engine, and it's a great political mechanic. The only thing is that I think neither of us advocate for is it kind of slows the game down a little bit.
Especially if you're playing a lot of creatures. Like,
A lot of Sphinxes, yeah. Yeah, there's like 30 Sphinxes in the deck, so yeah. Once you get that reduction, it's just like boom, boom, boom,
4 cards, what are you doing? All right, 4 cards, what are you doing?
But the deck is not that degenerate because I win with it's just combat damage in the air.
All right.
That's how she wins.
Nice. I think the next one we're going to talk about is a little juicy.
This is a juicy card. Oh, are we talking about
Telepathy?
Telepathy, yeah. So telepathy is originally from Urza's Saga. So it's 1 blue for an enchantment. Your opponents play with their hands revealed.
Your opponents.
Yeah. So you have all the information, and they can no longer bluff or do anything of the sort until telepathy gets removed from the battlefield. This is a turn 1 play.
It is a turn 1 play. It's insane.
It is insane. And, I think this card is a bit of a misnomer because your opponents can no longer really play politics in the same way that we normally can. They sort of start to work together against the player that is controlling telepathy because there's no more secrets among those players. It's like, this is what I have, and, this is what I'm doing. We don't know what this player is doing.
Yeah.
So maybe we should just get rid of them because it seems like they have the most knowledge, and knowledge is power. But don't get me wrong, I like telepathy a lot.
It's a fun card.
It is.
But be prepared to have a target on your head.
Yeah, if you play telepathy, it is gonna get you. And I've seen it, I think, more often than not, the player that plays telepathy doesn't win the game.
Yeah.
So the next card we're gonna talk about, it's sort of it's a bit of a Staxy card, which is Aura of Silence.
It's a good one.
Oh, it's a fantastic card. It's 1 and 2 white for an enchantment. Artifact and enchantment spells your opponent's cast cost 2 more to cast. So that would be good just on its own.
Just on its own, but
Yeah.
I think there's a little extra there.
There's a little extra. Sacrifice Aura of Silence, destroy target artifact or enchantment. Instant speed. You can do that.
Just hating on the artifacts and enchantments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, you just paid extra? All right, I'm going to get rid of that at the end step before my turn. Yeah, and I think originally the original printing had said that it's target opponent in its original Weatherlight printing, but it was updated. Well, I think I don't know if it always meant all opponents, but
That's what it is.
Yeah, it was errated for 10th edition and the Commander printings. that it had. But yeah, stacks cards are, in general, they're political cards, right? Because you're effectively stopping other players from playing the game,
Yeah.
which can really upset people. Right?
If I'm playing an artifact deck and you throw down Aura of Silence, I'm like, what the hell?
I need to get rid of that,
I need to get rid of that.
or
Like,
I can't play.
Yeah.
And putting a target on your back is it's a political move.
Yep.
Whether or not it's a good one
is up for debate.
It's debatable, absolutely. Okay, so this next card, which is I think originally from a commander set, is it's a land. So Homeward Path.
This is one to usually have in a deck.
This
if
is
you have creatures.
It's a very good card.
Yeah.
It's tap for a colorless mana, and you can tap it. Each player gains control of all creatures he or she owns. So one time I was playing a game with my Memnarch deck. Somebody played this, and I had Memnarch on the field. I hadn't really taken. Well, I don't think I'd taken anything yet. At least not creatures, because that's the great thing about Memnarch. He can take anything. So I turned Homeward Path into an artifact, and I took control of it. Got him.
Take that.
But that's a corner case.
Yeah.
Like Homeward Path is a fantastic card, and if you're in like a very creature heavy meta, or if you just have a lot of creatures, you should
Just have this card.
Yeah, like I should probably run this in more decks.
Probably. But it is also nice because then it's like if somebody else is having problems with having someone else take control of their creatures, you can work a little deal with them. Be like, hey, I'll give your creatures back, if you help me out a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as you don't attack me with those creatures until the end of the game.
There we go.
It's like, also, if someone tries to make a deal with you like that, it's like,
don't do it.
Don't do it. That's insane.
Yeah. This is also a nice little card to go with Perplexing Chimera.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But then they get the Perplexing Chimera back.
No, if you play your own.
Oh, yeah, and you keep getting it back. Yeah, of course.
Well, yeah. What do you think we're...
I don't know. I was just thinking worst case scenario. No, you're absolutely right. So the next card is Maze of Ith. So this is a land that does not tap for mana. It was originally printed in the dark.
Doesn't tap for mana.
Yeah,
What is this?
Well, if you have a Chromatic Lantern, it will tap for mana. Don't worry.
Sure, okay.
So it's tap, untap target attacking creature, prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to and dealt by that creature this turn. So this is just like a deterrent, an attacking deterrent.
Yeah.
For opponents. And it's not just attacking you. If the creature's attacking somebody else, you can save that person. And
Politicking.
And when you save someone, they owe you. But just make sure they know that before you save them.
If they don't care, then don't do it.
Don't try to make a deal after the fact.
Yeah. It's like, hey, I did save you. They're like, okay.
You already saved me.
Yeah.
It's over. It's done.
Make the deal when it matters.
Yeah, don't threaten people.
Yeah.
I don't know if I mentioned that, but just it's not going to go over well. This like Maze of Ith is also really great against Voltron strategies.
Voltron players hate seeing this.
Like, that being said, like any Voltron deck worth its salt will have a way to give its commander hexproof or shroud. Usually
Probably.
hexproof so that they can keep putting stuff
on
onto
them. Yep.
But you never know. Not everyone's playing Sigarda or Narset. Yeah. You got your SRAMs that sometimes don't have hexproof, and you just bam, Maze of Ith.
Like, ha. Wait till next turn.
Got him. So, Eric, why don't you talk a little bit about this next card? I think this is one of your faves.
Yeah, I like this one a lot. This one I actually had in the Kineos and Tiro deck.
Nice.
Yeah. So this is Crown of Doom. It's just a 3-mana artifact. Whenever a creature attacks you or a planeswalker you control, it gets +2/+0 until end of turn. So while you control this artifact, things attacking you are stronger. Sounds kind of weird. Mm-hmm. It has a second ability. For 2 mana, target player other than Crown of Doom's owner gains control of it. Activate this ability only during your turn. So basically, when you have control of this, you can pay 2 mana to give it to somebody else.
And it can never be given back to you.
It can never be given back to you. So if you're the player who plays this, it's never going to be on your head. And other people will just have stronger creatures against your other opponents.
Yeah, it's like political hot potato.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is a fun card.
Yeah, I run this in my Zoncha deck.
Nice, yeah.
Just to buff her and all their other creatures.
Yeah, so, because, I mean, people are probably going to not want it on them, so they're going to be spending 2 mana already, which is slowing them down. And then, yeah, people take more damage.
And if people's creatures are getting buffed, it does incentivize them more to attack players that are open.
For sure, yeah.
Because a lot of times, players won't block their utility creatures.
No,
right?
because you want that mana.
Or you want
to be
that
able
ability.
to, yeah,
right? They're
or
not
whatever
there
it is.
for their power and toughness.
Not at all. So they're not going to be wanting to block.
No.
And so if you're just giving this crown to somebody and you even have some like mana dorks, just like, yeah, I'm getting in for 9 damage.
Yeah.
3 creatures.
Yeah, that's almost a quarter of the health that we start with.
Yeah, so fun card, Crown of Doom. Don't forget it.
Really good. Don't forget it. I think it's been shooting up in value lately. I think it's almost like $5.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I know.
All
It
right.
used to be like 50 cents. That's
Yeah.
how much it was when I bought it. So we've Got Archangel of Tides next.
Some more taxing stuff going on.
You like this one too, right?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we have cost 4 mana, 1 of anything, and 3 white, so very heavy on the white. You usually see this in like mono white or a dual color deck just because of the mana cost
Like,
there.
yeah, and like we see it a lot in like Angels, right? The heavy white cost.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's a flyer, 3/5, decent stats.
it is good. For
As
4.
long as the Archangel is untapped, creatures can't attack you or a planeswalker you control unless their controller pays 1 for each of those creatures.
So it's like a Ghostly Prison or Sphere of Safety or Propaganda type of effect.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
So helping you stay alive.
Yeah.
And then as long as the Archangel is attacking, creatures can't block unless their controller pays 1 for each of those creatures.
So that's like
That's the good ability.
Super unique effect. Like I don't think
Yeah.
I've seen that on many cards.
No, I don't think so either. And people like to tap out during their turns to play as much as possible.
Yeah, they don't have mana to block.
No.
Like when we're attacking, we know that these propaganda type effects are on the battlefield and we can save that mana or use that mana to attack accordingly. It doesn't feel good, but sometimes we have to do it.
Exactly.
But with this blocking effect, this like taxing blocking effect, it's
a really weird one to have to think about.
Yeah.
It's not something you're used to having to think about at all in Magic, so
No, in general, we don't think about combat as costing mana.
at all. It's just
Right?
like I can just attack you for whatever.
No,
Yeah.
like combat is sort of a return on investment because we paid the mana to get the creatures onto the battlefield. So
Yeah.
we already paid for them. Now we're attacking.
Yeah.
But yeah, this blocking effect is super powerful.
I also like it a lot because the second ability does read as long as it's attacking. So if you give it vigilance somehow, you get both effects always.
Absolutely. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's so good, and White's so good at giving vigilance.
Already. So
That's dirty. They
that's-
should have made Archangel of Tides legendary.
that'd be a fun commander.
So we've talked a little bit about like Propaganda and Ghostly Prison and those type of cards.
Yeah.
Those type of like combat taxing effects.
Pillow Fort.
But this is a card that you this was in the list of cards that you sent to me, and I'd never heard of this card.
I actually never heard of this card
And
either.
like I didn't know I think this was from a time when you couldn't when they didn't have the color pie figured out.
Yeah.
So you could get this effect in black, where now they would never print this as a black card.
No.
So it's Koskun Falls. It's 2 and 2 black for an enchant world, so you know it's old. At the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice Koskun Falls unless you tap an untapped creature you control. So it's like that's not a huge cost. Right?
No, because you're untapping and then it's your upkeep.
You think in black you would at least have to sacrifice it.
Probably, yeah.
Right?
But just tapping it, you still got to keep it. Sweet.
And creatures can't attack you unless their controller pays 2 for each creature he or she controls that's attacking you. So it's just like Propaganda or Ghostly Prison.
But it's in black.
But it's in black.
Yeah, that's rare.
So what set is it originally from?
The set that this guy is originally from is Homelands.
Oh, Homelands. So this is...
Yeah.
I wonder what the value of this is, because Homelands is a notoriously, like, not undervalued. It's appropriately valued. It's just doesn't have a lot of value.
Yeah.
It's like Homelands, Fallen Empires, like that whole block. When like
It's not.
I'm glad I wasn't
Yeah.
playing that. But yeah, this printing is from Commander 2011. But
Gatherer says there's only one printing from Homelands.
oh, okay. This must be like some kind
That
of.
might be
We've got like
some-
we got some kind of graphic here, but it must be some kind of. Oh, it says custom card at the bottom.
There you go.
We got bamboozled.
You know.
It happens. But yeah, this is just a great card. Like if you're playing mono black or you're not playing white or blue and you want this effect, pick up this card. It's just it's just one of those situations where we don't have this effect, but turns out we do have this effect.
And it's definitely gonna be one of those cards where you play it and people are gonna be like, What is that?
What is that? What, you only have to tap a creature?
Really?
That doesn't seem fair.
Not at all.
But just keep in mind that it is an enchant world, so if another player plays an enchant world, it destroys any enchant worlds
That
on
are
the
there
battlefield.
already.
Yeah, so just
Weird old.
it's not something you're gonna run into too often, but it definitely can happen. Like I run a Concordant Crossroads in my Yison deck. Gives all creatures haste. It's a green enchant world. I don't think anyone's ever played an enchant world in a game that I've been playing that card. So
Yeah.
it's uncommon. Rest assured. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So this next card is and these effects are very well. Just we were talking about cards where people had to pay for combat, and these next few cards are going to be cards where people are just not going to want to attack you
Not gonna. Yeah. Instead of paying mana,
unless it's lethal damage.
unless it's lethal.
So this card is No Mercy. It's 2 and 2 black for an enchantment. Whenever a creature successfully deals damage to you, destroy it.
Ooh.
Yeah,
That creature's pain with its life.
Yeah, it's good. It's very good. Actually, I remember when my brother opened a foil one of these.
Ooh.
Doesn't play the sleeve, so you can imagine what condition it's in now. This is from Urza's Legacy, so
It's probably barely
probably
foil
not
anymore.
worth $100. But there are, there are other cards that do what No Mercy does. There's like Dread from Lorwyn does
Yeah.
the essentially same thing, but easier to remove because it's not an enchantment. You know what? Actually, I want to read the flavor text on No Mercy because it actually is about a sleeper agent, which is also what Zancha was.
Ooh.
We had years to prepare while they had mere minutes.
Ooh.
So that's it's talking about the Phyrexian invasion.
Yeah.
So it's very
Art's really sweet on that one.
yeah, it's very good. It's like darkness and light. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. Like it a lot. So Eric, why don't you talk a bit about this next card and like the cards that this is like a Nev's disc kind of effect.
Yeah, it is kind of like a Nevs. This one's a little more expensive though,
And way worse.
and way worse.
Like way more powerful. I hate it.
I really liked this card when I first saw it, and I had other people say, "Oh, it's too expensive in mana. You're never gonna." And I was like, "Nah, Commander is meant for."
It doesn't even come into
big
play
mana stuff.
tapped.
You can use it right away.
Like Nev's disc come like just so everyone knows, Nevin Ural's disc is a 4 mana artifact that comes into play tapped, and you can pay 1 and tap it to destroy all artifacts, creatures, and enchantments.
yeah,
So if like Planeswalker decks, put it in.
totally.
It's great.
It's great in those decks. But this card, Perilous Vault, is 4. Gets out your artifact, and then you pay. It doesn't come in tapped.
Yeah.
So then you can pay 5 right away and tap it. You exile Perilous Vault, and you exile all non-land permanents. Everything.
Everything's gone.
Yeah.
Except lands.
This one's great. If someone else is having just like a way better time than you on the board, throw this guy out there. It exiles absolutely everything.
Yeah, it's great. It's only 9 mana. Like that's really not a lot.
It's really not a lot.
By the time you get to a point in the game where you want to exile all non-land permanents,
You're gonna have that mana.
yeah. And it's just a self-destruct switch, right? Like
Totally.
you play this, and if you have 5 mana up, people are gonna stop playing things.
Yeah, they're not gonna want to throw them into this Perilous Vault.
They're gonna hope that you get into a situation where you don't have 5 mana ready to go, and someone plays a Cyclonic Rift.
to get it off the field.
Because when you exile it, it's gone.
It is gone.
So yeah, like people like, this card is really effective in keeping cards in people's hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, just and also cards like this, like Nev's Disc and Perilous Vault, are really good in the colors that don't have access to the good board wipes, like green and blue.
Yeah.
So, when people say that, green doesn't have any good board wipes,
Perilous Vault.
Hit
it up.
Also, it's a ramp color, so 9 mana. It's fine.
Oh, totally.
So we talked about some political moves that you can make at the beginning of the episode, but the last topic we're going to talk about is just some more of those political moves.
Start up with political moves, wrap it up with some more.
We're gonna end at the beginning.
Yeah. Some say the end is the beginning.
Is that well, the story never really ends, right?
Yeah, it keeps going.
That's right. So something that I've I think we probably all run into it from time to time, but
Sitting down at that commander table.
Whew, don't get me started. But it's those players that will say that they don't like politics. They don't like that aspect of the game. And, I'm not trying to be exclusatory here, but to those players, I would say first and foremost, there are a lot of other formats that are super enjoyable, like 1v1 Commander. I love 1v1 Commander. I have a Talran deck that I love to play. I just got no one to play it with. Or CEDH, that like the social political contract that we enter into when we sit down for Commander is almost non-existent with CEDH.
Oh, totally.
We're trying to win on turn 3.
No matter what.
No matter what, right?
Yeah.
That's how we build the decks. And then there's all the other constructed formats like Modern, or Standard, or limited, right? Like
all those formats.
No politics in those.
Just 1v1.
But, for the players that say that they don't like politics, but then sit down at that casual commander table, I would let those players know that saying that is a political statement.
Basically saying that I can never make a deal with you ever?
I won't make a deal.
Yeah. Then you're just never my ally.
You're making your life really difficult.
Real difficult.
When you say that, you'd be better off just saying nothing.
Just don't say anything if that's your take on things.
Because your opponents are going to treat you as someone who they can't make a deal with, or best case scenario, worst case scenario, they might think you're a rabid dog, and they're just going to want to take you out of the game as soon as possible because you're someone that won't be dickered with.
Yeah. Could be foaming at the mouth for all they care. But I would say just like if you don't like politics, that's the reason why I enjoy Commander.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we don't. It's we've both expressed what we like about the 1v1 formats.
Yeah.
But there definitely is that aspect of Commander is unique.
Exactly. You don't get that really in any other format, so it's really fun.
Yeah, so if you're not the politicking type, but there are aspects of casual Commander that you really enjoy, I would just advise you to just not vocalize it.
Don't say that because then people are not gonna. That's a target on your back instantly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it definitely is a like kind of argumentative because I think most people are there to take part in that political aspect of the game.
I would say so. That's the reason why we play. So.
Yeah, and I think we also mentioned a little earlier, just in passing, don't get into a habit of threatening opponents when you're making a deal. That's not how you make a deal.
No, that's not. Don't be hostile.
Yeah, it's a much better way to make an enemy.
Yeah.
is to threaten
That's
players.
how you make the enemy.
It's like, hey, if you attack me, I'm going to path to exile your commander. And it's like, all right, well, I'm going to attack you then. Let's see what you got.
Let's see your path.
I can recast my commander. Can you recast that path?
Nope.
Yeah, so it's just it's just a really great way to make an enemy. And you don't really want to make an enemy in Commander until you're ready to win, until you're at the point where
You're at that late game spot.
and it doesn't matter if they're your enemies because
Yeah.
you just won the game.
Exactly. They're going to be your enemies that are dead.
That's right. And you know what? At the end of the day, we are all enemies, right? Because we're trying to kill each other.
Yeah.
I think we all always have to remember that.
That's the way you win the game.
Absolutely.
You're my friend. Sorry I killed you.
That's right. And when it comes to like the politics of the game, you know, it should stay inside the game,
Yeah.
right? Like don't try not to let these things like fizzle over into you know, quote unquote real life.
Just because you think somebody was like really picking on you, even though you were head honcho.
Maybe they had maybe you thought they had a poor threat assessment.
Yeah.
You know, that happens. Right?
Don't like follow them home or something.
No. Oh God,
This is
of course
getting-
not. No. I just meant like don't be mean to them, but you took it way further.
Whole other level.
Yes, don't follow people home if
not a
you
good thing to
don't
do.
live with them or if they have not specifically requested for you to do so. Like, hey, follow my car. Don't. Or don't follow. Just don't follow people. That's
Take all that back. Just don't follow people.
yeah. That's just a great habit to get into when you're playing Commander and after the game too. But, you know, regardless of how you feel about politics, just remember that by sitting down at the Commander table, you're participating in the politics of the game. It's part of the game, whether you
This
like it or not.
multiplayer kind of game of Magic we're playing.
Yeah, and you're absolutely free to just say nothing and try not to make waves, but I think we would encourage you to, you know, just always be open to changing the political climate. Because it's going to change throughout the course of a game.
Oh, for sure. Always. Someone else will get more powerful, and then someone else, and then someone else. Like,
That's right.
yeah.
Wow, what a great format.
It's so fun.
It's just the best. All right. Well, we can probably wrap up the show.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Getting to that time.
Yeah, it is. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. We just want to thank all the listeners for listening.
Sitting through this with us. Listen to this jibber jabber.
Oh yeah. So yeah, on the next show, we're gonna be talking about Modern Horizons.
It's over the horizon.
It's on the horizon.
And over.
I don't think it's over yet.
Okay.
I don't want to be, you know, too picky. But yeah, that's I think we'll probably end up doing a two-parter because our set review on War of the Spark was a bit long.
It was.
You
We
know?
didn't see it being that long and just kind of happened.
Yeah, it did kind of happen, but you know, we know folks are busy, and I'm sure. Well, but that's the great thing about it being on demand. You can just pause it and then finish listening to it later.
Yeah.
Like there's some podcasts I listen to that if they did like a 2-hour and 20-minute episode, I'd be like, yeah, that's good. Do more like that, please.
Yeah. I like the content. More.
But yeah, just, you know, as long as it's quality, that's, you know, I don't have any problem with it.
Yeah.
And we hope that you don't either. But if you do, you know, please comment or send us an email. And you can do that. You can email us at turn1soulring@gmail.com. You can find us on Instagram at turn1soulring_the podcast. And on our Instagram account, there's a link to our SoundCloud account that links to our podcast on Google Play and Apple Podcast or iTunes.
Yeah.
But you can find us on iTunes and Google Play for the Android users like Eric. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
That's the best way to go.
I agree.
There we go.
You guys can make all those like changes to your phone, right? Like you have so much more control over how things look and stuff. Like us Apple users, we're just like, all right, this
Stuck
is what
with
we
what's
get.
there. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So no, it's all. I wasn't trying to say anything bad about Android.
Now that the Apple users, it's still a great device.
Oh yeah, no, it's all good. The freer the market, the freer the people.
Exactly.
That's what I say. You can also find me, Kevin, at on Instagram at Command Beacon. It's all one word. Yeah, we're still doing our June giveaway for the 3 packs of War of the Spark.
Yeah, get some Planeswalkers.
Yeah, get them. And so you can enter into that giveaway by finding that Instagram post for the How to Play Faster episode. Mm-hmm. And just subscribe to the Instagram account, the podcast Instagram account, and repost the post and tag the podcast in it, and you'll be entered to win those packs.
Seems pretty easy.
Yeah, it is pretty easy.
Yeah.
And we'll be announcing the winner on July 1st.
Right at the beginning of next month. Yeah.
Canada Day.
Hey, look at that.
So we're going to have the day off. And it's a Monday.
What?
Long weekend. It's the worst when Canada Day is like in the middle of the week.
You're like, come on.
And, for Americans, I'm sure it's the worst when July 4th is in the middle of the week.
Yeah.
Which I think Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I think it's like a Thursday this year. Sorry, guys.
We won this one.
Well, you know what? We're all winners.
Yeah, we're all winners in the end.
As long as you play politically,
we're all winners.
We're all winners.
Yeah.
But that being said, at the end of a game, like there is specifically one winner.
The one who's
and
still alive.
3 losers. And we are getting our YouTube stuff
figured out.
We're getting it figured out, so don't worry. All you YouTube users. I love YouTube. So just thank you so much for listening again to another episode of Turn 1 Soul Ring.
As always, thanks for listening. You guys have yourselves some good nights.
And good days.
Yeah.
And go get 'em, Tigers.
Turn 1 Soul Ring.
Oh, we forgot to talk about Heartwood Storyteller.
That's fine.
I'd never seen that card before, actually.
That was when I was making the Kineos Tiro deck. That card was like, I think, $20.
What?
Yeah.
That's insane. His roots reach deep, nurtured not by soil and rain, but by millennia of cum.
It says experience.
It does say experience. I misread that, unfortunately.